You hear the soft tap of paws on the kitchen counter, then the scrape of a glass sliding toward the edge. You say no from across the room. Your cat freezes, looks at you, blinks once, and then pushes it anyway. It feels personal in that moment, like they understood you and chose to ignore you. But that is not really what is happening. To your cat, the word no is not automatically a rule, a boundary, or a clear instruction. It is just a sound followed by your movement, your voice, and your attention. So if your cat does not understand the word no, what exactly are they supposed to learn from you in that moment? Before you correct the behavior, it is important to understand what your cat is actually hearing. That is where Dr. Susan's perspective is helpful. As a veterinarian, she is not looking at no as a magic word. She is looking at what the cat can actually notice in a real home, in a real moment, with noise, movement, stress, and temptation all happening at once. Cats may not understand no as a moral command, but they are very good at reading signals around it. They notice your tone, your volume, your face, your posture, and how quickly you move toward them. Research has also shown that cats can recognize human emotional cues and adjust their behavior in response, especially when those cues are repeated consistently. So the goal is not to make your cat feel guilty. The goal is to make your response clear enough that your cat can connect one behavior with one predictable outcome. That is why Dr. Susan breaks correction into 3 rules. First, rule out pain or stress. Second, communicate the same way every time. And third, redirect your cat toward the behavior you actually want. However, the first rule is the one many people skip, and it can completely change what the behavior means. Before you correct the behavior, it is important to ask a quieter question. Could this be pain? A sudden change in behavior is a veterinary question before it is a training question. That does not mean every problem is a medical emergency, but it does mean that a cat who suddenly acts different should not be treated as if they are simply being stubborn. Cats are very good at hiding discomfort. In the wild, showing weakness can make an animal vulnerable, and many house cats still behave as if pain should be concealed. So arthritis, dental disease, thyroid problems, urinary issues, stomach discomfort, or other medical conditions may first show up as behavior that looks like defiance. For example, a cat who suddenly bites when you touch their back may not be mean. They may have sore joints or skin pain. A cat who stops using the litter box may not be protesting. They may have pain when urinating, constipation, or trouble climbing into the box. A cat who avoids jumping, hides more, growls when picked up, or becomes unusually irritable may be telling you something has changed in their body. This is why correction can backfire when pain is the real driver. If your cat is hurting, a firm no, a loud voice, or repeated removal from the area does not fix the cause. It only adds fear or confusion to a problem they already cannot explain. So if the behavior is sudden, intense, or out of character, start with your veterinarian. Bring clear examples, when it happens, what changed, and whether eating, drinking, grooming, litter box habits, or movement have shifted. Once pain has been ruled out, then the question becomes how to make your boundary clear without frightening your cat. Once you know you are dealing with a behavior issue, the next rule is consistency. Your cat is not studying the word no the way a person would. They are paying attention to the whole moment, your tone, your posture, your timing, and what happens next. So the word matters much less than the pattern around it. This is why using no in 5 different ways can become confusing. If one day it is a sharp shout, the next day it is a tired whisper, and the next day it is said while laughing, your cat may not understand that all of those are supposed to mean the same boundary. A better approach is to use the same calm, low, firm voice every time. Not angry, not loud, just clear. Say the cue while the behavior is happening, then follow through with the same predictable response, such as moving your cat away from the counter or blocking access to the object. Timing is important here. If your cat scratches the couch and you correct them 10 minutes later, they will not connect your response to the scratching. They may connect it to whatever they are doing now, like sitting near you or walking into the room. That creates confusion, not learning. It is also important to understand the difference between firm and harsh. Firm means steady and repeatable. Harsh means yelling, lunging, clapping suddenly, chasing, or using intimidation. Those reactions may stop the behavior in the moment, but they often teach fear rather than understanding. The goal is not to win a battle with your cat. The goal is to make one boundary easy to recognize. Same cue, same tone, same timing. But even the perfect tone only interrupts the behavior. It does not teach your cat what to do instead. So the next step is to give the correction a destination. A correction only works when it is paired with an acceptable alternative. If your cat jumps on the counter and you only say no, you have stopped one action, but you have not answered the more important question: where should they go instead? The sequence should be simple. Say the same calm cue, gently interrupt the behavior, move or guide your cat away if needed, then redirect them to the correct option, such as a cat tree, a scratching post, a toy, or a resting spot nearby. When they use that option, reward it with praise, attention, a treat, or play. This matters because cats do not learn from a moral lesson about being good or bad. They learn through repeated cause and effect. When I touch the counter, I am moved away. When I sit on the perch, good things happen. Over time, that pattern becomes much clearer than the word no by itself. A common mistake is stopping at the interruption. For example, if your cat scratches the sofa, moving them away may protect the sofa for that moment. But if you do not bring them to a scratching post and reward them for using it, the original need is still there. They still need to stretch, mark, and scratch. The same is true for biting during play. The goal is not just to end the bite. The goal is to pause your attention, offer a toy, and reward the moment they bite the toy instead of your hand. One correction teaches almost nothing. Many identical repetitions create a pattern your cat can understand. The method becomes much easier to understand when you apply it to the behaviors owners struggle with most. Biting is one of the clearest examples of why the reason behind the behavior matters. Two cats may both put teeth on skin, but they may be doing it for very different reasons. The first kind is play biting. This often happens when a cat has learned that hands are part of the game. If you wiggle your fingers under a blanket, wrestle with a kitten, or pull your hand away quickly when they pounce, your cat may learn that skin is a moving toy. In that moment, the bite is not usually meant as aggression. It is play that has been aimed at the wrong target. The response should be clear and boring. Say a short, consistent ow, then stop the game for a moment. Do not yell, chase, or keep wrestling, because those reactions can make the game more exciting. After the pause, redirect the next round of play to a wand toy, feather toy, or anything that keeps teeth and claws away from your hands. This teaches a simple rule. Biting skin makes play stop. Biting the toy makes play continue. Petting-induced biting is different. This is not usually a cat trying to start a game. Some cats become overstimulated when they are touched for too long or in a place they do not enjoy. The correction here is not to wait for the bite and then react. The goal is to notice the warning signs earlier. Watch for tail flicking, skin twitching, ears moving back or sideways, growing body tension, or sudden stillness. Those signals often mean your cat is reaching their limit. If you stop petting at that point before the bite happens, you teach your cat that quiet signals work. That can reduce the need for stronger signals later. So with biting, the word no is not the main lesson. For play biting, the lesson is use the toy. For overstimulation, the lesson is I will listen when you need space. Other behaviors look less personal, but they are still driven by a reward your cat is getting from the environment. The same idea applies when your cat knocks objects off a shelf. It may look like mischief, but the behavior is often being rewarded in a very practical way. The object moves, it makes a sound, you react, and suddenly the shelf has become more interesting than any toy on the floor. So the first question is not, how do I make my cat feel bad for doing this? The better question is, what is my cat getting from this? If they are getting movement, give them toys that roll, skitter, or bounce. If they are getting attention, avoid rushing over with a big reaction every time. If they are exploring because the shelf is full of tempting objects, reduce the temptation by moving breakable items and leaving fewer loose things at the edge. Chewing is different because safety comes first. If your cat chews choose cords, strings, or houseplants, the priority is not training in that moment, it is management. Use cord covers, block access behind furniture, put chargers away, and remove toxic plants completely. Many common plants can be dangerous for cats, so it is worth checking before assuming a leaf is harmless. From there, you can offer safer outlets. Some cats benefit from cat grass, silver vine sticks, food puzzles, or chew-safe toys designed for cats. The lesson is not simply do not chew. The lesson is this is the safe thing to chew. Door dashing also needs a clear setup. If the front door is always exciting, the cat learns to rush toward it. One way to change this is to make the doorway boring and controlled. Before opening the door, send your cat to a treat station, a perch, or another predictable spot away from the entrance. Reward them there, then open the door only when they are not crowding it. For cats who truly want outdoor time, leash training may be a safer routine, but it should be slow, positive, and supervised. Then there is the 5 in the morning food scream. This one is simple but difficult. If noise makes breakfast appear, the noise has been trained. A timed feeder can help separate you from the reward, and a steady feeding routine can reduce the negotiation. Rather than arguing with the meow, make the schedule do the teaching. In each case, the correction becomes clearer when you identify the reward: movement, chewing, escape, food. Once you know what the cat is working for, you can block the unsafe version and reward the better one. 2 of the most common complaints, though, are not really bad habits at all. They are instincts looking for the right place to go. Scratching is one of the clearest examples of this. A cat is not looking at the arm of your sofa and thinking, "This will upset my human." Scratching helps remove the outer layer of the claw, stretches the shoulders and back, relieves tension, and leaves scent from glands in the paws. In other words, it is maintenance, exercise, stress relief, and communication in one behavior. So the goal is not to teach never scratch. That would be like teaching a cat not to groom. The goal is to teach scratch here instead. One way to do this is to place a scratching post or pad directly where the cat is already scratching. If the corner of the couch is the favorite spot, the new scratcher should start right beside that corner, not across the room where it looks better to you. Material matters as well. Some cats prefer sisal rope, some like cardboard, others want carpet, wood, or a tall vertical post that lets them stretch their whole body. If the first scratcher fails, it may not mean your cat is stubborn, it may mean the texture, angle, or height is wrong. When they use the correct surface, reward them immediately with praise, a treat, or play. That timing helps the lesson connect. Counter jumping follows the same logic. To a cat, the counter is not a rule they are trying to break. It is height, a lookout point, interesting smells, food crumbs, and sometimes running water from the sink. If they find chicken there once, the counter has paid them very well. The practical fix is to remove the payoff and provide a better option. Keep counters clean, put food away, and avoid leaving dishes or packaging that smell interesting. Then offer height that is allowed, such as a tall cat tree, a window perch, or shelves designed for climbing. If the sink is the attraction, a pet fountain may meet that need without inviting them onto the counter. Rather than treating these habits as defiance, look at what the cat is trying to accomplish. Then make the unwanted option unrewarding and the approved option easy to choose. At this point, the pattern is clear, which is why the most common human reaction is often the thing that ruins the training. This is the moment where many people reach for the fastest reaction. The cat jumps up, claws the chair, bites the plant, or darts toward the door, and the human response is immediate: shouting, chasing, clapping loudly, grabbing, or spraying. It is important to understand what this teaches from the cat's point of view. Your cat may not connect your anger to the behavior in the way you expect. They may only learn that you suddenly became loud, unpredictable, or frightening. The lesson becomes, my person is unsafe, not the counter is off limits. That is why punishment often creates a different problem. A cat who is chased away from the counter may wait until you leave the room. A cat who is sprayed with water may stop while the bottle is in your hand, but continue when you are not there. The behavior has not been replaced, it has only been hidden. The same is true for hitting, scaring, or cornering a cat. These reactions can damage trust quickly, especially because cats rely heavily on safety and control in their environment. Once fear enters the lesson, learning becomes harder. The cat is no longer thinking about where to scratch or where to climb. They are focused on escaping you. A common mistake is assuming that if the behavior does not change after 3 days, the method has failed. But behavior change is rarely that quick. You are building a new pattern through timing, repetition, and consistency. If the rule changes depending on your mood, or if the allowed option is only sometimes rewarding, the cat receives mixed information. Rather than trying to win the moment, the goal is to make the next choice clearer. Correcting a cat is not about overpowering them. It is about understanding what they need, removing the reward from the unwanted behavior, and calmly teaching a better pattern. So the real question is no longer how to make your cat stop. It is something much more useful. So if your cat does not understand the dictionary meaning of no, what are they supposed to learn? They are learning a pattern. They are learning that when they hear your calm cue, the current behavior stops, your response stays predictable, and a better option appears right away. That is the real lesson. So before you correct the behavior, remember the 3 rules. First, rule out pain or stress, especially if the behavior is new, sudden, or intense. Second, use the same calm and firm cue every time without shouting or turning it into a chase. Third, redirect your cat toward the behavior you want and reward that choice when they take it. One simple action is to choose one behavior this week and write down the replacement. If your cat scratches the sofa, the replacement may be a tall scratching post beside that exact spot. If your cat jumps on the counter, the replacement may be a perch nearby. If your cat bites during play, the replacement may be a wand toy instead of your hands. Rather than trying to overpower your cat's instinct, the goal is to understand what your cat is getting from the behavior, then offer a safer and clearer way to get it. As always, we would love to hear from you. Comment below with one behavior your cat is struggling with right now. If this was helpful, please give the video a like and subscribe for more calm veterinary guidance. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.